the eye.
Not very nice. She doesn't like.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Susan James, Library Manager here at Bayliss and Assistant Director of the Superior District Library. We're very excited to have Jonathan Rundman with us tonight. And we thank him for coming and for providing a library discount. So thank you very much. Thank you to the Friends of Bayliss Library for providing refreshments. Jonathan Rundman is a Yooper. He was born in Hancock and grew up in Ishpeming. Currently, he resides in Minneapolis. He's been writing songs since he was a teenager and has been touring for the past 25 years. In Michigan, he's appeared at such locations as the Hiawatha Traditional Music Festival in Marquette, FinFest in Houghton Hancock, the Porcupine Mountain Music Festival in Ontonagon, and the Great Lakes Folk Festival in East Lansing. Last year, he performed solo at the Lutheran Church here in the Sioux, where I saw him. And a few years ago, he performed with the band Kaivama at the Finn Hall in Sugar Island. His music has been described by the New York Times as bright, catchy indie pop. Tonight, he has the CDs for purchase and signing and some books too. Please welcome back to the Sioux, Jonathan Rundman.
All right, thanks.
Let's go out to the airfield for them transatlantic flights. Stop out by the chain link fence at the end of the runway lights. See the sunshine on the wingspan. See the wheels lifting off the ground. Yeah, I think our love is going somewhere, baby. Can't you hear the engine sound? 747's look beautiful, soaring in the skies of blue. 747s are taking off, like my love for you, oh, like my love for you. Let's lay back on the tarmac, just looking up at the clouds. See that jet pass overhead and our hearts start pounding loud. Love is fast, love is dangerous, love can take you high. Like 100 tons of steel and fuel, graceful in the sky. 747s look beautiful, soaring in the skies of blue. 747s are taking off, like my love for you, oh, like my love for you. Darling, in the shadow of the plains, we can build our home in the flight path so you can hear them call our names. And when those engines roar up in the air, you can turn your eyes above. See that silver angel fly and know how much I love you. 747s look beautiful, soaring in the sky. 747s are taking off, like my love for you, oh, like my love for you. Yeah! 747s look beautiful, soaring in the skies of blue. 747s are taking off, like my love for you, oh, like my love for you, like my love for you.
So nice to play music. I've been on a vacation sort of for like a month and a half. I didn't play at all in April and not much in March. And this is the first time I've played in, a long time. Tonight is the first time. And then I'm going on a tour starting like tonight and going on for the rest of the week all over from here and then down to the mitten of Lower Michigan for about a week. And then I go home to Minneapolis and then catch a plane, and then I go to the Pacific Northwest to play in Seattle and Portland and Eugene and Astoria And I'm really excited, but it's always weird to go from being at home and doing the laundry and cleaning the basement, and then having to get back out and play a concert. It's very weird. So it feels good though. So thank you for coming, man. And I'm excited too because not only am I kind of back on the road after a break, I have a new album called Look Up. And it looks like, where is it? There we go. It looks like this. This is my brand new album. And I'm super excited because I really feel like, I poured my heart and soul into it. And so I'm going to test drive some of these new songs for you tonight, including this next one. Now that first song I played, 747s, it's an aviation song, as you noticed. But it's from about 10 years ago. So now I'm going to play you an aviation song that's brand new.
The hurricane warning, we were right in the path. A couple billion survivors living here in the aftermath. When the sun shone down this morning, nothing where it was before. No more roads, nowhere to go. Water levels higher than my front porch door. Watching the horizon and the clouds up above. Everybody's waiting for the helicopters of love. We got sent to the front lines. We knew our fate was sealed. The whole day was a bloodbath. Now we're left standing in the battlefield. We got no more ammunition, no more tanks or trucks. Everybody's crying, everybody's dying, fresh out of hope and long out of luck. We've been watching the horizon and the clouds up above. Everybody's waiting for the helicopters above. Watching the horizon and the clouds up above. Everybody's waiting for the helicopters of love. I've seen the bulldozers of self-obsession and the limousines of war. Seen the locomotives of nostalgia, but that train don't run no more. I keep on waiting for the helicopters to climb up through that fuselage floor. Watching the horizon and the clouds up above. Everybody's waiting for the helicopters above. We've been shooting off the flare guns, 'cause we're all dreaming of that fine day when everybody's flying in the helicopters above. Oh, the helicopters of love. The helicopters of love.
I was thinking as I was playing that song that I think I've been influenced by aviation songs. You know, there's a lot of famous rock songs that were about, like, do you know this one? Oh, going from Miami beat the OAC, didn't get to bed last night. You know, it's the Beatles. That's aviation. And then, do you remember this one? They're heading out on the road, right? I've been down before. How's it go? Big old jet airliner, don't care if you're too far away. Oh, there's so many good airplane songs, right? So I got an airplane song and a helicopter song. So if you have any other air vehicles that you want a song for, just let me know later, and I'll try to write you a Zeppelin song or a Hindenburg kind of hang glider song of some sort. But let's see, I'm going to play another song from the new album, from the Look Up album. And I think this is a song that is sort of inspired by, I feel like I'm entering midlife. I'm going to turn 44 pretty soon, and now I have children, so I have a couple little kids. And I'm realizing that when I reached my 40s, I started appreciating my parents a lot. And then thinking about my grandparents and appreciating them, and thinking about the timeline of life. Does that happen to other people too? Something about, isn't that interesting how that happens? So anyway, I've been thinking about that, and a lot of the songs on the Look Up album are reflecting on what it means to be a 40-something dad who also plays music. And so this next song is about family heirlooms. And before I play it for you, I thought maybe we could have 4 people volunteer to just yell out if you have a family heirloom in your house. You know, maybe it's a piece of furniture, maybe it's a photograph, maybe it's a book. I don't know. Does anybody want to share? If you have, what do you have at your house?
A maple chest that's probably 100 years old.
Wow, a maple chest. That's cool. What else? Anybody else have a family heirloom?
I got 4.
A photo of my great uncle John, who is in the Flying Tigers.
Oh, cool. Aviation. He was a pilot. A photo of your uncle. That's very good. Yeah, anybody else have? Let's have 2 more people. Yeah, what's yours?
Teddy Roosevelt campaign button.
Oh, wow. Teddy Roosevelt. That's like when was he president? 18 something. No, 1910?
1902, I think.
1902, thank you. That's pretty cool. I wonder what the value of a Teddy button would be. That's amazing. Do you have one?
We have a postcard from the Civil War that was sent to one of the grandfathers sent to a grandmother.
Wow, a postcard from the Civil War. That's amazing.
A painting from Finland of the Turun Tuomio Kirkko, the cathedral in Turku.
I've been to that cathedral. Wow, that's great. That's a very good one. Well, I'm going to play this song, and while I play it, you can think about the heirlooms that you have at your house.
On the top shelf of the bookcase to the left, inside the door, is the keychain that you carry, and the earrings that you wore, and the paper that you took with you this morning on the train. But the story underneath it all remains. There's a bottle filled with water from the ocean. There's a ribbon from my mother's wedding gown. There's a Bible with your family name inside. We never had a home without these things around. They're on the second shelf now. They're on the second shelf now. You were wearing that perfume on the day that we first met, and you sprayed it on your letters so I never would forget. And I saved them in a shoebox where I kept them for myself. But now you keep them on the second shelf. There's a bottle filled with water from the ocean. There's a ribbon from my mother's wedding gown. There's a Bible with your family name inside. We never had a home without these things around. They're on the second shelf now. They're on the second shelf now. span of every lifetime, there's a story that unfolds in the present all too often. The best stories go untold, so we keep a few reminders of what was and is to be. We remember us together when we see a bottle filled with water from the ocean, a ribbon from my mother's wedding gown, a Bible with your family name inside. We never had a home without these things around. There's a bottle filled with water from the ocean. There's a ribbon from my mother's wedding gown. There's a Bible with your family name inside. We never had a home without these things around. They're on the second shelf down. They're on the second shelf down. They're on the second shelf down. They're on the second shelf down.
Thank you. All right. Now, I've met some of you before, and I play music in a bunch of different situations, so I might have met you in a variety of situations. Did any of you see me at FinFest or at the Sugar Island Fin Hall? Okay, cool. Great. I also sometimes play for Lutheran things. Did anybody see me at a Lutheran thing? Paul did. Some other people did. Oh, great. And then sometimes I'm just playing folk music in general. Or how about this? Has anybody never seen me play before? Wow, yeah! This is great! There's lots of new people. Well, I'm glad you get to come and say hello. That's wonderful. Well, I'll play some selections from all the different kinds of music that I like to play. And the first time I ever played in the Sioux was 4 years ago when I was touring with a band called Kaivama. And that was a band that played traditional Finnish music. And we played at the renovated Sugar Island Fin Hall. Raise your hand if you've ever seen that place or been there. Anybody been there? It's really great. They don't have plumbing and they don't have electricity. So when we played there, they had a generator out back so that we could have the sound system turned on. And they had a brand new outhouse. That was fantastic. So that was great. So the Sugar Island Fin Hall, that was really cool. And so that was the first time I ever played in the Sioux, and we had to take the ferry to get out there. It was really great. Do any of you live on Sugar Island? All right, great. Yeah, that's really neat. So I'll play you a tune from the Kaivama album that we were touring in support of 4 years ago, the first time I was ever here. And this will give you a little sense of what traditional music from Finland sounds like. And I'm going to play this instrument, which is called a mandola, and it's like the big brother to the mandolin. And in those years that I was playing traditional Finnish music, I was the accompanist for fiddlers. And it was really, really fun. And then when I'm out by myself, I'm not a fiddler. And so I thought, how can I play fiddle tunes if I don't have a fiddle? And if I can't play the fiddle, well, I'm trying my best to figure it out because the strings of a mandola are the same sort of shape as the strings on a fiddle. So this is a tune from Finland from probably the 1940s or 50s. And it's called Talvi Yön Valssi, which means Winter Night's Waltz. Can't you hear the winter night in that melody? I think that the melody sounds like the winter to me. It's amazing. All right. When I spent 3 years on the road playing traditional music from Finland, I learned lots about my own heritage because my ancestors came to the UP from Finland in 1903 and settled in Ishpeming, where I grew up. I was born in Hancock, but grew up in Ishpeming, where my parents and grandparents were all from, on both sides of the family. And I learned that in traditional Finnish music, oftentimes you'd write a tune for somebody in your life. You know, so you might have a polka for your grandpa, or a waltz for your sister's wedding, or a march for the farmer who lived across the road. You know what I mean? And so I thought I need to write some new Finnish American music in honor of people from my history. And so I thought, I got to write a song about my great-grandpa who came to Ishpeming from Finland in 1903. And his story is quite dramatic. And I thought, this guy needs a song. So here's the deal. In those days, Finland was not even yet a country. It was, over the years, part of Sweden for a long time. And then at that point, the Russians were in control. And what they were doing was they would forcibly draft young Finnish men into the army and then send them off to die. And that's what happened to my great-grandpa. He got drafted into the Russian army. But through a very dramatic turn of events, he was able to escape and come to America, to Ishpeming, where he opened a paint store, Rundman's Painting and Decorating, which was open for almost 100 years until the 1980s. When I was a little kid, it was still open. And so the significance of the paint store will be clear to you when I play you the song. And I just got an email from my dad's cousin, who has kept a lot of documents from the Rundman family line. And she sent me the ship's manifest of the ship that they came on in 1903. So they left the southern part of Finland, they went to Liverpool, England, and they changed ships. And they got on a ship on May 22nd, 1903. So later this week, or next week, I guess. No, this week will be the anniversary of when they got on the boat in Liverpool, the SS Cymric, and sailed to New York City, to Ellis Island, and then came on a train or whatever to Ishpeming. So it's weird to think that, wow, this is the week that they did it, you know? So I'll play you the song, and when you hear the story of the song, you'll realize that it's sort of a miracle that I'm even here today.
He was the finest painter that the town had ever known. His canvases were window frames and walls, and stairwells and archways he plastered overlap. From high upon the ladder in the morning, oh, painter, painter, pack up your brushes, take down your ladder. Painter, painter, look away across the blue. Then came the commander to say, put down that brush. You're now to be a soldier, your name is on my list. The shadows fell around them with the painter dressed in white. He knocked out the commander with his fist. Oh, painter, painter, pack up your brushes, take down your ladder. Painter, painter, look away across the blue. They carried him to prison and they slammed the cell block door. The warden came to look him in the eye. He said, aren't you the painter who's the finest in this town? Well, if you paint my house, I let you live. Ornamental flowers on the ceiling up above. The warden stood with tickets in his hand. He said, take your wife and baby before the sun can rise. The boat sails for America tomorrow. Oh, painter, painter, pack up your brushes, take down your ladder. Painter, painter, look away across the blue. Oh, painter, painter, pack up your brushes, take down your ladder. Painter, painter, look away across the blue.
So I know in the Sioux there's lots of Finnish Americans. Are any of you Finnish American? There's a couple. All right. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about Finland's sort of a strange place because it's kind of in between the West and the East. And in those days, like 10% of the population of Finland were Swedish speakers. So even though they lived in Finland where people spoke Finnish, these people spoke Swedish in the home. And that's my background, which is why my last name Rundman, or Rundman as we say in English, doesn't sound necessarily Finnish as Paul's last name, which is Rapana, right?
Yeah, that's old Karelian.
Really? Oh, so you're like Eastern Finland, and Rundman is like Southwestern Finland. And so when I was learning about traditional music from the Nordic countries, and I was learning about how people would write these tunes for their relatives and for people that they knew in their life, and I thought, oh, I want to write a fiddle tune for the fiddler in the band to play, and I thought I should name it for my earliest living, or my earliest recorded ancestor. Now, my grandpa's cousin in Helsinki did all the genealogy in about 1968, and Finland was very organized because they kept records in the church of everybody who was born and everybody who was dead and everybody who got married, and they were very persnickety about it. So they had the precise details on generations of people. So my grandpa's cousin was able to trace all the people back to 1540. That was the earliest ancestor of mine. And that man lived in a town called Loima in southwestern Finland, in the Swedish-speaking area. And his name was Martin Rynky, R-Y-N-K-Y. And over the centuries, Rynky evolved into a Rundman, which is my last name now. And I thought, Martin Rynky needs a song, because he's my 24th great-grandpa, or something like that. And so I wrote him a little march. And so I'll play it for you now. And even though I'm not a fiddler, I'll try to play it on the mandola here. And but I'm going to ask you guys, since it's a march, in the Swedish language, if you're a fiddler and you wrote a march for your town, it's called a gånglåt. That's the name of a Swedish marching tune. And in those places, in those towns in the Nordic countries, every town had a musician who, if you were having a wedding, you'd call the musician would come and play, accordion or fiddle or whatever. Or if you had a funeral, the musician would come and play the funeral song. So each town had a wedding song, a funeral song, a party song, a marching song. And you'd call up the musician, or you'd, I don't know, before there were telephones, you just yell, I don't know. And the musician would come over, and in Finland, the musician's called pelimani, which means the playing man. Or in Sweden, they called him the spelman, and that's in Norway too. The spelman means the playing man, or the one who plays. And so, so they wrote marches, because you'd need a march if you were going to go to town, to go to the market, to get a new cow or something. It's the long walk if you're just walking and it's boring, so you'd bring the musician with, and then they'd play the march, and then you could go to town and it wouldn't be so bad, right? So this is the march for Martin Rinke. And so I need you guys to do the march, because I don't have a drummer. So give me just with your foot, something like this. Let me hear that. This guy's got it down. Beautiful. Okay, here it goes. Thank you. So, how's your attention span? Everybody hanging in there? Good. And what's your name, sir?
My name is Rowan.
Rowan. Cool. What grade are you in?
Third.
All right. It's good to have a youth in the building. That's great. Did you play an instrument?
I'm trying to learn how to play guitar.
Awesome. Are you in choir? Oh, maybe in third grade they don't choir in school yet. Well, maybe you can become a guitar player and then you can play at the library. Okay, how's everybody doing? You hanging in there? Oh, I'm trying to think. Oh, you know what? I'm going to play you a local song. Because whenever I go to someplace new, I always think it's fun to try to play a song from the same region as where I am. And now, like, I'm a Western Uper, but it's fun to be over on the east side of the UP, especially because, like, Canada is just like, well, here's the road. So Canada's like just over there, and it's also kind of over there. And so I kind of get excited because on the west side of the UP, Canada is across the lake, which is like really far away. But here I feel like, wow, it's so international. And so I thought I should play you a regional tune. And this is one of my favorite tunes. I just learned it in the last decade probably. And it's got kind of an amazing story. It's one of the most famous Canadian melodies. But I also think it's got good connections to the UP because it's from a part of Canada that's kind of directly east of here, across Lake Huron, in that part of Canada that dips down by Detroit. And it's from probably 200 or 300 years ago. And it's got an interesting DNA strand because it's a French melody with Huron Native American influences. And I'm going to play it on a Finnish American folk instrument here. So when you kind of work the native, like Ojibwe Huron vibe along with French Canadians and a Finnish instrument, you kind of sound like the UP, right? So maybe you recognize it because I said it is one of Canada's most well-known pieces of folk melodies. That's called the Huron Carol. And I get excited whenever you think like, that's right, in this neighborhood. It's amazing. And I stopped on the highway on the way here at the historical marker that's about 10 miles out of town, just south on the freeway. And it said that the Sioux is the oldest town in this part of the Midwest from 1683? Yeah, isn't that incredible?
1668.
1668. I mean, that's just amazing. So, I mean, that song is like, that would have been heard when the Sioux was a town. I mean, isn't that amazing? I think it's so great. All right, so let's see, I'm going to play another new song here. This is called a harmonium. In Finnish, it's called harmony. But sometimes in English, we just call it a pump organ. And that's what it is. My feet are pedaling, and then there's bellows inside. So it's sort of like an accordion that you play with your feet. And I'll play you a new song from the Look Up album. This is a love song. So if you're feeling romantic, this is a song for you. And my wife, her name is Dawn. She's also a Yooper. She's from Escanaba. And we met one another when we were teenagers, when we were working at a summer camp called Fortune Lake in Crystal Falls, Michigan, which is a great place. I was a lifeguard, and she was a counselor, and it was very romantic. Yeah. And so this is a song I wrote for Dawn on the brand new album. And holy cow, we've been married for a long time. I think this summer will be our, 23rd wedding anniversary. So I thought, there's lots of love songs about brand new love, like first falling in love and that stuff. And then there's heartbreak songs about breaking up. But there's not a lot of songs about long-term relationships. So I thought I'd better write it.
That I must discuss my desire and our design. Lay my soul out on the line. Life is wholly fast and free, and this is how I love it. It gets dark and complicated in the middle of it. Prioritize us. Prioritize us. Everything we see will be history, so let's make us a priority. Nothing's gonna shut me down. I would give up all I own. I got eyes a blazing fire. I care too much to hide it. I got a heart-shaped picture frame, and you are here inside it. Prioritize us. Prioritize us. Everything we see will be history, so let's make us a priority. You and me, I will protect with time and cash and intellect, even when the sky is so foreboding. Supernovas are exploding. Prioritize us. Prioritize us. Everything we see will be history, so let's make sure that we don't forget to prioritize us. Prioritize us. Everything we see will be history, so let's make us a priority.
traditional tune. That one's probably 200 years old. It's called the Pikin Nikun Polska. And so that was another one that Kaivama got to record. Well, let's see, boy, I could play till 10 at night. I've got so many songs and it's so fun to play that I got to decide like what to play. It's like too much pressure for me to handle. Well, let's see, maybe, let's see, I could do, let's do another romantic song. Is that all right? You guys hanging in there? I'm trying to provide you with a well-rounded musical evening. A little bit of diversity, is that okay? Yeah. Okay. So let's see, here's another romantic song. And like I mentioned, my wife's from Escanaba. We met when we were in high school. And she's a pastor's kid. And our first date, this is really, we were big nerds. Our first date, the bishop's installation. You were probably there, Paul. It was in 1988, Harry Anderson. Were you there? Was it Marquette? Or were you living somewhere else at the time? Paul and I have lots of connections. He used to live in the Ishpeming area, in National Mine, right? Where was your house?
I lived in Palmer.
In Palmer, oh, okay.
I had about 3 congregations on the National Mine.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where I met my wife, who was from Ishpeming.
And, oh, your wife's from Ishpeming, that's so great. We're probably related or something. But my maternal grandpa's side was all from National Mine. They were miners, you know, and that's where they lived. And then we have other connections because then you were in the Copper Country, up in the Keweenaw Peninsula. And that's where I was born, in Hancock. Are any of you Western Yoopers that moved to the Sioux? Okay. Are any of you Sioux natives who were born and raised on the east side of the UP? Oh, awesome. It's so fun to come over here. It's like, it's very exotic. I feel like I'm in a different country or something. But you still have all the important things like pasty. You can still get a pasty, that's all that really matters. So anyway, I met this girl from Escanaba, and we met at doing sort of nerdy church things. And I thought there aren't any love songs about falling in love at church. And I was thinking I should write one, you know. Did any of you meet your sweetie at church or at a church-related function? Nobody? Paul, did you?
Only funeral directors and clergy can say, I met my wife when I buried her father.
That's a great joke. I remember that. That's true. Yeah, you don't want to hear that from like a bus driver. But if it's a funeral director, then you can hear that. It's not so bad. So I wrote this song, and I was trying to think what would be a romantic way to fall in love at church. And I thought, what if you came to church and they had a handbell choir? Do you know what a handbell choir is? Where they ring the bell? And I thought, wouldn't that be great if you were in the congregation and then you fell madly in love with someone in the bell choir? That'd be awesome. So, that's what this song's about. And so the person singing the song is in the congregation, and the woman in the choir, her name is Carol. So this song is called Carol of the Bells.
I prayed to God to help me fall in love, bless me with my young heart's desire. And on Sunday when I went to church, I saw this girl in the Bethany handbell choir. She rings G and she rings A. I can't wait to hear her play. They don't trust those notes to anyone else. Carol of the Bells. In the middle of the C major scale, she's the girl that I've been dreaming of. Let me tell you something about that church. There ain't no better place to fall in love. She rings G and she rings A. I can't wait to hear her play. They don't trust those notes to anyone else. Carol of the Bells. Standing in her driveway, her father's at the door. There's a light in her window. Where's Carol? Where's Carol? Hey, come on out! She rings G and she rings A. I can't wait to hear her play.
One more love song for Dawn here. Let's see. Well, when I met Dawn, she was the valedictorian of her high school class. And then she went to college and had a perfect college career. And then we got married and she went to grad school and she got her PhD in psychology, in brain science. And so when I met her, I was really attracted to her brain, you know. And there's lots of famous rock and roll songs about physical attraction. You know what I mean? Like, what's the most famous one that goes like something like, how's it go? Whatever, you know, like a pretty woman, right? Walking down the street, pretty woman. There's lots of songs like that. But there's like not a lot of songs about attraction of the intellect. And so I thought I should write one. And it seems so fitting to play it in a library. I wonder how many people have fallen in love with the library. I bet it's a lot. I bet there's a lot of library love stories. Not that we want to encourage anything like that here at the Bayliss Public Library. But you never know if things just happen in a natural way, you never know who you might bump into, you know?
Listen to me, boys, learn important things. Benefit from wisdom that experience brings. I will be specific, I will be direct. When you look for love, you got to look for intellect. You know the smart girls shine like laser light, 'cause they're so sharp and they're so bright. I tell you, smart girls know the human heart, 'cause love is science and love is art. Smart girls do their best when they take a second look. Smart girls wear their glasses to read their books. They practice the piano in the afternoon and hold your hand by the light of the moon. You know the smart girls shine like laser lights, 'cause they're so sharp and they're so bright. I tell you, smart girls know the human heart, 'cause love is science and love is art. You'll do well if you take my advice. Fall in love with a smart girl. Smart girls make the grade, study through the night. Smart girls pass the test, they get the answers right. They'll meet you after class at the library and speak your name so quietly. You know the smart girls shine like laser light, 'cause they're so sharp and they're so bright. I tell you, smart girls know the human heart, 'cause love is science and love is art. You know that smart girls shine like laser light, 'cause they're so sharp and they're so bright. I tell you, smart girls know the human heart, 'cause love is science and love is art. You'll do well if you take my advice. Fall in love with a smart girl.
Oh yeah, you guys are so nice. Thank you. All right. Oh, this is so much fun. Well, we got time. We got time for some more songs here. Oh yeah, I got to play this other one from the new album. Some of you might have said this before, but were any of you at FinFest in Houghton and Hancock 2 years ago? Paul was there. But it was really amazing. They had, 4,000 people on the campuses of Michigan Tech and at Finlandia University for a week, just doing all sorts of things. And for the opening ceremony, which was broadcast on public TV here in the UP and on Fox TV, so it was broadcast everywhere, I got asked to sing a song at the opening ceremony. And this next song I'll play for you is the one I played. And it was a song sort of inspired by those years I spent recently playing traditional Finnish music, and then also what it's just like to kind of become an adult and to find myself, like I said before, appreciating my ancestors and appreciating my heritage and those people who came before me. And maybe you have those feelings of appreciation too, you know? And maybe you have somebody in your past, in your family tree or whatever, who started somewhere far away and then made a huge journey and ended up some totally different place. And now here you are. And maybe you find yourself thinking about those people even though they've been dead long before you were born. And maybe you find yourself feeling homesick for some place that you never lived.
Never set my feet upon that rocky shoreline. I have never seen the sun down at the cold blue sea. I have never heard the wind in blood red birch leaves falling. Yet my heart is longing for my home unknown. In my dreams I follow the steps of my mother's mother's mother. There by the lakeside bellflowers grow beneath the wooden spire. I call out the name of my father's father's father. They hear me calling to my home unknown. Years ago we spoke your words and joined you in your singing. Generations later now, we've nothing left to say. Too much time has passed away, and all the words have vanished. Can I ever come back to my home unknown?
Well, how about this? I'll do a brief commercial break, and then we'll do a few more songs, and then we can stick around and have some snacks and say hello and visit and all that stuff. That's the plan. But let's do the commercial break. Like I mentioned, this is the first concert of a whole bunch of concerts I'm playing this May. And I'm really excited about that. So if you've got friends in the Lower Peninsula, tell them I'm coming. I'm going to be in Reed City tomorrow, which is kind of down towards Grand Rapids. Then on Saturday, which is not even far from here, I'm going to be playing in Sheboygan at 3 o'clock in the Festival Square Park downtown, which is like they have a amphitheater or pavilion or something there. So that'll be fun. The weather forecast looks good for that. I've never been to Sheboygan before. And then on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to be in Lansing playing for a convention of a bunch of Lutherans. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to be a tourist, Tuesday night. I think I'm going to go to the Lake Michigan shoreline. What are those towns, Ludington and places like that? So if you've got suggestions for me on where I should be a tourist, I want to go to the beach. So talk to me after, I need advice. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be in Traverse City. And then I go on to, yeah.
Are you doing a concert there?
I'm doing a concert on Wednesday, yep, at Bethlehem Lutheran Church. And it's a benefit concert for their Crisis Intervention Center for Homeless Youth or something. So that's a good cause. So that's Wednesday, this coming, is that a week? No, a week, yeah, next Wednesday. So all that stuff is on my webpage. And I wanted to let you know that over there on the table I have these cards. It's my little business card. It's got my website on there. And I would love it if you all take a card. You can go to jonathanrunman.com and you can see my whole tour dates in Michigan. And then I'm on to Seattle and Portland and Washington and Oregon and all that stuff. And then in June I'm going to be playing in Minnesota. And then in July I'm going down to Georgia. I'm going and then playing over in Crystal Falls. And then I've got stuff going on all over the place. Oh, and I just got booked in the UP in August at the Porcupine Mountain Music Festival in Ontonagon, which is like a big folk and blues and jazz kind of thing. And it's on the ski slopes of that ski resort there in the Porkies. It's really beautiful. So that's going to be super fun. So I'm excited about that. So take my card, visit my webpage. Also, if you like me right now, you can also like me on Facebook. That would be great. So you can search me out on Facebook. I have a musician page there, and you can like that. If you're on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram. I take pictures of my tours, and you can follow the whole thing. And also, I have a podcast. If you ever listen to podcasts and download them into your mobile device, my podcast is called Creativity Drill, where I talk to other musicians and artists about being creative. So it's all on my websites. Take a card, all that stuff. Also, I wanted to let you know that I don't have another job. You know, playing music, that's all I have. So I depend upon my audiences to survive. So let's say you were to buy one of my CDs, then I would take your money and buy some groceries. And so I wanted to show you what I have over there. This is my new album. It's called Look Up. You've heard a bunch of these songs tonight, including Home Unknown and Second Shelf Down and Painter, a song about my great-grandpa, and Prioritize Us. And I played a whole bunch of these today, and I'll play one more before we're done. Then I have this album, which is sort of my favorite songs from the last 10 years, and I played a bunch of these too, like, what did I play, 747s and Smart Girls, and I'll play another one from this album as well. And then I have this album of church music, so if you're into hymns and liturgy and stuff, when I was here before, I played at Faith Lutheran Church, which is the Finnish congregation, traditionally here.
Both Finnish and Swedish.
Finnish and Swedish, it was a merger, wasn't it? And so I got to play there, and so that's a big part of my musical background. My grandma was a church organist at Bethel Lutheran in Ishpeming for 60 years, from age 12 to 72. That's a pretty good career in the music business. So, and then I have this album, which is the best of my early years, if you wanted to know what I sounded like in the Clinton administration. And then some of the traditional Finnish music I played for you is on these two albums, Kaivama and Arto Jarvala in Kaivama, which we recorded with Finland's greatest fiddler. And I played one of those tunes on the harmonium and a couple on the mandola. So you got to hear some traditional Finnish music. And if you are a musician and you play the fiddle or the accordion or whatever, this is the Kaivama tune book. And inside is the sheet music for a lot of those traditional songs as well as historical information. So if you want to learn about Finnish folk music, you can do that. So the CDs are $15 and the books are $10. Oh, and then this is sort of a new thing. I had my 6 main records and then some other ones that are almost out of print, so I put them in a Happy Meal box here. And so if you really are feeling adventurous, you can spend $60 and get 228 songs. So, and then I've got a credit card machine on my phone. So if you want to shop with a credit card, that'd be great. But ultimately, I'm just glad you're here. And I think really we should say thank you to Bayliss Public Library and to Susan for making it happen. Oh, yeah. This is a beautiful environment. I love that I don't have to plug in. Isn't it nice to hear the acoustic instruments in the room without all speakers and garbage like that? So it's like this is real music, like real acoustic music. So I hope you come back and see Claudia Schmidt. When's that date?
July 9th.
July 9th. She's a legend. She is a folk music legend. And she's originally from Michigan, I think, and now she's somewhere else. But she's well known all over the country. And I've heard about her forever, never seen her. And I would love, but I don't live here, unfortunately. So your job is to go see her because she's awesome. So go see her. And thanks again to Susan and the library for having me. All right, I think the commercial is over, right? Oh, and you can sign up on my email list. I'll let you know when I come back. Maybe I really want to play at the Arts Center at the college here in town.
Yeah.
And because I've heard it's just beautiful, and I've been talking to the guy who books it about coming with a band, doing like full band. Would that be fun?
Yeah.
So maybe that'll happen. So sign up on my email list, and you'll find out when I come back to the Sioux. All right, commercial's over. Let's do a couple more before we hit it. 2 more songs. Oh gosh. Do you want to hear mandola, guitar, or harmonium?
Yes.
Raise your hand if you want to hear mandola. Okay, raise your hand if you want to hear harmonium. Okay, raise your hand if you want to hear guitar. Oh, guitar away, sorry. All right, so I'll do a couple more guitar tunes here. Oh yeah, that's what we'll do. All right, so I got to play you, I love to play in a library. And about 10 years ago, I wrote a song about a librarian. And it became kind of my biggest hit because it got written up in the Library Journal. and it's sort of an international thing. So librarians all over the world bought this record. And then some librarians out of New York State made a video.
Oh.
So if you go on YouTube, you can type in Jonathan Rundman Librarian, and you can see this incredible video shot at the library in Fayetteville, New York. And they choreographed like 20 librarians dancing. Choreographed, it's incredible. So you should go to YouTube and search for that because it's great. But I love libraries, and I love this environment, and I love that your library is open till, like, what is it, open till 9? Twice a week? That's so cool. So anyway, it's great to be here at this library, and I hope you support your local library and all that stuff. So this is called Librarian.
Just a baby. Before I could speak, I would line up all my letter blocks alphabetically. Now it's my vocation and my passion to assign every decimal numbered shelf to every decimal numbered spine. I'm a librarian. I'm a librarian. Quiet so the pages can be heard. I'm a librarian, I'm a librarian, and I do it for the love of the word. I bring order out of chaos, I shine light into the dark, because power comes from knowledge, just like fire from a spark. And like Gutenberg and Luther, with press and pen in hand, I take the message to the masses in a form they understand. I'm a librarian, I'm a librarian, and I like it quiet so the pages can. I'm a librarian, I'm a librarian, and I do it for the love of the world. Oh yeah! And when the day is over, I go home at 5:03, and I give thanks to God and then to Andrew Carnegie and the U.S. Constitution and to Orwell, Poe, and Twain. I'll return at 8 a.m. to open up again. I'm a librarian.
Thank you for coming. This has been great. I feel like I'm warmed up now. I can go on tour. But you know, you spoiled me because now I want to play everything unplugged. It's so annoying to have to like mess with all that equipment and microphones and junk. It's horrible. So this, I feel like it's just like you're spoiling me rotten here. This is what music should be.
Is that water?
It's water. Yes, I refill my iced tea container with, well, you don't need to know what I do. It's water. It's straight from the river. All right, so I just came this morning from Ishpeming because I left Minneapolis yesterday. Man, that's a long drive. I went the Duluth way though. That's if you need advice like how to get to the UP from Minneapolis, you can go the Wausau way. It's faster, but it's really boring. So go the Duluth way because it's beautiful. You get to see the lake. Go to Ashland. That's amazing. It's great. And then you get to see Ironwood, which is sort of exciting. It's way better. So I always go the Duluth way. So I got there yesterday and I stayed at my mom and dad's house. And it was always fun to go see them. And it was kind of a big thing because my mom just had a birthday. Her birthday's on May 2nd. And then Mother's Day was right after. Her birthday and Mother's Day are always kind of right in. She turned 69 years old. Pretty exciting. She's a few months ahead of my dad. So that was always fun to visit my mom and dad. And I was thinking about her since it's Mother's Day and her birthday and stuff. So I thought I should play a rock and roll song inspired by your mother. And this was a song that was a really big hit when I was about 5 years old. And when I was 5, my parents bought me my very own radio that I could have in my room and I could listen to anything I wanted. So I would tune in the rock and roll station in Ishpeming or Marquette or wherever it was from, and I listened to the music of the day as a little developing youper. And so this was one of those songs that I heard and I thought this song moved me to my soul. I thought this is a really great song. And so it's from about 1975, I think, or maybe even a little bit later than that. And so I'll play it for my mom in honor of her birthday. But thanks for listening, everybody. When I was a little boy, and the devil would call my name, I said, now who do you think you're fooling? Yeah, I'm a consecrated boy. I'm singing in the Sunday choir. Oh, my mama loves me, she loves me. She gets down on her knees and hugs me. Yes, she loves me like a rock. She rocked me like the rock of ages and loves me. Now I've grown to be a man, and the devil will call me name. I said, now who do you think you're fooling? Yeah, I'm a consummated man. You can't get a little purity. Oh, my mama loves me, she loves me. She gets down on her knees and hug me. Yes, she loves me like a rock. She rocked me like the rock of ages, loves me. If I was the president and the Congress would call my name, I said, now who do you think you're fooling? I got the presidential seal there on the presidential podium. Oh, my mama loves me, she loves me.